You think you know everyone in Peppa's world, but hiding in the background of this show are characters so mysterious that even the show itself refuses to explain them. No names, no backstories, no answers, just faces quietly watching from the edges of the screen. Today, we are pulling them out of the shadows. These are the most mysterious characters in Peppa Pig. Let's start with a character who has been in the show since the very beginning, and somehow we still know almost nothing about her. Candy Cat. She's been in Peppa Pig since day one. She's best friends with Emily Elephant, and yet while every other character was getting backstories and family episodes, Candy quietly faded into the background, barely speaking, barely appearing, like the show was deliberately keeping her in the shadows. And the little we do know only raises more questions. Her dad runs a bakery. Her mum works as a graphic designer in the same office as Daddy Pig. She doesn't even live in a house on a hill like everyone else. She lives in an apartment in the city. For a character who has been here since the very first season, that silence feels like it's hiding something. Now let's talk about Grampy Rabbit, aka Reggie. And that's already suspicious, because in Peppa Pig, we almost never learn the first names of adults. So why do we know his? Living alone in a lighthouse by the sea, surrounded by a junkyard full of random inventions, Grampy Rabbit has always felt like a character with a lot of secrets. He loves cheese instead of carrots. He builds weird machines that nobody ever questions. And he travels everywhere with the energy of someone half his age. But here's the strangest part. In the episode Sea Treasure, Peppa finds a bottle on the shore with a letter inside, written by Grampy Rabbit himself over 100 years ago. So Reggie is at least a century old, and yet he's still climbing mountains, exploring caves, and piloting boats like it's nothing. The show never explains it. It just moves on, like that's completely normal. Now here's a mysterious character that hides in every single episode, the narrator, that calm, all-knowing voice that guides us through Peppa's world.
Mummy Pig is working on her computer.
But who is it? Because this voice doesn't just describe what's happening. It knows what the characters are thinking. It knows what they're feeling. And sometimes it even hints at what's about to happen before it does. The characters never acknowledge it. They can't even hear it. So, who is this voice? A hidden character? Or something far stranger? Nobody knows. Now, here's one you might not know about. Before Pedro Pony ever existed, there was someone else, a character named Penny Pony, and she was originally supposed to be one of the main characters in Peppa Pig. The plan was simple, a pony in Peppa's friend group. But before the show ever aired, the creators made a change. They switched Penny out and replaced her with Pedro Pony, and just like that, Penny was gone. Or so everyone thought. Because years later, Penny quietly reappeared as a background character, and when she shows up in Perfect Day, she's running through a shopping mall while her mum chases after her. She has a personality, she has energy, and she's clearly a different color from Pedro, which rules out her being the same character. So who is she to Pedro? A cousin? A distant relative? The show has never said. Penny Pony was scrapped before the show even started, and she still found a way back in. Now let's talk about one of the most talked about background kids in the entire fandom. In the episode Mr. Potato's Christmas Show, if you look at the audience watching the performance, you'll spot a young cow sitting quietly among the children. She never says a word, she barely moves, and she's gone before you even notice her. But that one appearance was enough to send the fandom into a full investigation. Fans decided to call her Carol Cow. And here's where it gets interesting. Carol has actually shown up on official Peppa Pig merchandise, which means she's not just a random background extra. She's real. She's canon. And some fans have even spotted her shopping alongside Mrs. Cow in another episode, which has led to a popular theory that Carol is Mrs. Cow's daughter. But if that was true, then why was she absent when Mr. Bull married Mrs. Cow in the Wedding Day episode? Carol Cow remains one of the show's most quietly fascinating mysteries. Right next to Carol, in that same Christmas show audience, there's a small black kitten who has never appeared in any other episode. Fans have been calling him Christopher Cat. The obvious first thought is that he must be related to Candy Cat. They're both cats after all. But Candy has never mentioned a brother, and they've never been seen together, so he's more likely a distant cousin from another part of town. But here's the strange part. In a completely different episode, there's another black cat, a young girl, sliding around a cheese-themed amusement park. Fans call her Claire Cat. And the resemblance between her and Christopher is so strong that many people believe they're siblings. Two mysterious black cats, two completely different episodes, and zero explanation from the show. It's like they exist just outside the edges of Peppa's world, occasionally stepping in, and then disappearing again. Now let's talk about Susie Sheep's dad. Think about it. We've met her mum, we've met her grandma, we've even met her cousin Charlotte. But her dad? Not once. Not even in a flashback. In a show where every family has a mum and a dad, the complete absence of Susie's father is genuinely strange. And the theories about where he went are even stranger. Some fans believe he's actually the narrator, a ghost-like figure watching over Susie from a distance, close enough to see everything but never able to be there. Others think he's a spy working overseas, which would explain Susie's anchor print pajamas as a subtle hint that her dad is somewhere at sea. And some people, completely seriously, believe he's Santa Claus, which honestly would explain the high-quality toys. The truth? Nobody knows. But in a show where family is everything, his absence makes him one of Peppa Pig's biggest mysteries. One background couple that quietly shows up from time to time is Mr. and Mrs. Badger. They live somewhere out in the countryside, far from the main characters, and almost never get any real focus. But Mrs. Badger gets her biggest moment in a petting farm episode, where she calmly guides Peppa, Rebecca Rabbit, and George through feeding chickens and petting guinea pigs. She's patient, she's gentle, she's clearly a good person, and then she's gone. In another episode, you can spot them both at Grandpa Rabbit's Science Museum, quietly looking at the exhibits, and then they disappear again. Mr. and Mrs. Badger are the kind of characters who feel like they have a whole life happening just off screen, but the show never lets us see it. Now this next one is a little different, because this mysterious character isn't from Peppa's world at all. During the Pig family's trip to America, if you look at the Times Square screen in the background, you'll see something unexpected. Ben and Holly, from the completely separate show Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom, appear on the screen like they're part of a big stage production. And it doesn't stop there. In the episode Once Upon a Time, Princess Holly appears again on the cover of a storybook that Peppa is reading to George. So, what does this mean? Are Ben and Holly real in Peppa's world? Do they exist in some magical kingdom just beyond the edges of Peppa's map? The shows share the same creators, which is probably why these crossovers keep happening. But it's still one of the most fascinating details hiding in the background of the series. And finally, let's talk about one of the strangest characters to ever appear in Peppa Pig. During the family's holiday in Italy, Peppa loses her teddy bear, and an Italian police officer finds it and returns it. But then it happens again, and then again. This same policeman manages to find Teddy every single time it goes missing, and then tracks down the Pig family afterwards to return it. Once is lucky. Twice is a coincidence. 3 times? That's suspicious. How does he always know where Teddy is? How does he always find the family afterwards? And why? In a country where the Pig family doesn't know anyone, this one specific police officer keeps appearing. He vanishes from the show the moment the holiday ends and is never mentioned again. But the mystery of the Italian policeman, who always finds the missing Teddy, is one detail that once you notice it, you can never unsee. So, there you have it. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And, as always, we'll see you in the next video.